Paula Dean and the Real Women of Philadelphia. My name's Lisa and I'm coming to you from my kitchen in Alpharetta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. I'm really excited to be sharing this wonderful recipe with you today. It's a family favorite and one that my friends have come to love as well. It's called triple lemon cookies, and I use Philadelphia cream cheese in addition to some other fabulous ingredients, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you right now. The first thing that I like to do before I start cooking a recipe is I like to make sure I've got all my ingredients and all my cooking utensils around me at the same time, so that I don't have to be running around my kitchen like a chicken with my head cut off trying to find a spatula or a spoon or whatever. So what I've got for you in terms of ingredients today are, I've got Philadelphia cream cheese at room temperature. I've got a stick of butter, also at room temperature, 1 egg, a lemon, which we're going to be using a couple of parts. We're going to be using the zest for part of the cookie, and we're going to be using the juice for the other part of the cookie, the glaze. I've got some vanilla that I'm going to be using, and lemon cake. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream together the cream cheese and the butter in a mixer. I'm going to put it on medium speed just so that it starts to incorporate. It'll just take a couple of minutes. One of the important things is you want to use room temperature butter and cream cheese because that's going to allow your ingredients to incorporate together. It should only take about a couple of minutes. And in that time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack open my egg. Another thing I like to do is when I'm using eggs, I like to crack them separate from the rest of the ingredients in case it turns out that there's a bad egg or you get some shells. You don't want to eat the shells or a bad egg in your recipe. Now once the butter and the cream cheese are incorporated, I'm going to turn down the speed of the mixer and I'm going to add some of the other ingredients. First I'm going to add an egg, just 1 egg. And don't rush putting the ingredients in. Make sure that everything's incorporated really well because it'll just taste better and it'll just make a better batter for you. Next I'm going to put in a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla gives a great flavor, brings out the flavor of some of the other ingredients. Then I'm going to add a standard box, which is 18¼ ounces of lemon cake mix, just the mix. And again, take your time inputting the ingredients. There's no rush to cram it all in. Make sure everything's really nicely incorporated. Mix it all up. And you'll see the batter will start to pull it together. What I love about using the cream cheese in the recipe is that it really keeps the cake batter moist. Sometimes when you bake a cake it can dry out, but the cream cheese really kind of keeps it moist. The egg gives it a lot of, binds it together and does a really great job of kind of pulling it all together. So now I'm going to stop the mixer for just a minute. I'm going to add somewhat of a special ingredient, and this really takes the lemon flavor to a new level. I'm just going to wipe some of this batter off here. What I'm going to do is I am going to put in the zest of 1 lemon. And the zest is really where all the flavor of the lemon is. It's fragrant, it brightens up any recipe. Make sure you just zest your lemon down to the white, which is the pith. You don't want to use the white, but you do want to use all the yellow skin that's on your lemon. And once you finish zesting, like I said, it's about the zest of 1 lemon. You can zest it right into the bowl. You don't even need to do it separately. And then once you do this, turn your mixer back on for just about 30 seconds, just to make sure that the zest is incorporated nicely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the batter in the refrigerator. And the reason for this is we're actually making cookies, but we're using cake batter. And cake batter tends to be very soft when you make it, so we're going to put it in the refrigerator so that it gets a little bit hard and stiff and we can work with it. Okay, I think we are done here. Just scrape all your batter off your attachment here. I find the best attachment to use when you're using a mixer is a paddle attachment if you have it. It's a little bit flatter and the batter doesn't get caught quite as much as maybe some of the other attachments that you have. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take this, we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to let it sit for at least 2 hours so it will harden and we'll be able to work with it. Okay? Now I also made some batter earlier in the day, so this is actually ready for us to work with right now. Okay, if you want to take a look at that, it looks the same, but it's gotten a little bit stiffer. in its consistency, and that's going to be great for us to be able to actually roll out some cookies. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some confectioner sugar, put it in a bowl. I've got my baking sheet lined with some parchment paper. I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a regular spoon. I'm going to scoop some batter, probably about, I don't know, a walnut size, maybe a little bit larger. I'm going to roll it in my hand just like this. So you've got a ball of sorts. I'm then going to roll it in the confectioner sugar and just place it on my cookie sheet. And I'm going to give the cookies a little bit of space on the cookie sheet because they are going to flatten and spread a little bit, and you don't want the cookies to run together. You could do this a couple of different ways. You can use an ice cream scoop to ensure that every cookie is the same size, or I like to just kind of do it freehand and a little bit rustic, and this way they're homemade, and every cookie's a little bit of a different size, and just kind of gives that really kind of homey feeling. So I'm going to finish rolling these, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes to put those in the oven and show you exactly what we're going to do next. Okay, so now we've made our cookies. This is roughly what they look like, and like I said, they're going to flatten out and spread out a little bit, kind of give a crackled look, so we want to give them a little space. I'm going to put them in the oven, 350 degrees for 14 to 16 minutes. You want them to cook the same way that you would cook a lemon cake, a little bit well done on the top, but not really burnt. I put these in the oven a little while ago, so we should be able to let them cool for a few minutes, and then we're going to glaze them, and then you will have triple lemon cookies. Okay, so we've taken our cookies out of the oven, we've let them cool a little bit. This is what they look like. As I said, you just want to cook them the way you would cook a lemon cake, just a little bit, not really burnt on the top, just a little bit well done to make sure that the batter is cooked all the way through. And now we're going to do our last part, which is the lemon glaze. And all you need for that is a lemon. And you can use the lemon that you used earlier today to zest. Now remember, when you're using a lemon for zesting and juicing, make sure you zest it first and juice it afterwards. Otherwise, you'll never be able to do it. So we're just going to create some lemon juice here. And we're going to pour it into our bowl with some confectioner sugar. You only need a little bit of juice to actually get the confectioner sugar to a consistency like that of a glaze. So you're just going to mix it up. If it gets too thin, you can add more confectioner sugar. If it's too thick, you can add more lemon juice. It's really pretty simple to do. You just kind of use your own judgment on that. Mix it up. Make sure it's well incorporated. And the best way to tell if it'll be pourable or not is you kind of lift it up like this. That looks a little gloppy, so we're just going to add a drop more juice. Then once we've got the glaze, the consistency that we want, just those two ingredients, we're going to take it and again, very rustically pour it over our cookies. The glaze only takes a couple of minutes to harden. The cookies are already cooled, and you have got triple lemon cookies. Now the one great thing about, there's really many great things about these cookies, but one of the things that I love is that you can make them in advance and you can freeze them and serve them when you have company drop by. And all you do is you take the cookies out of the freezer, you put them on a piece of wax paper or parchment paper and just let them come down to room temperature, and they are moist and delicious and very lemony. So I hope you enjoy making this recipe as much as I do, and I hope you enjoy eating this recipe as much as my family and friends enjoy it.